Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming Cedar Rapids Independent Film Festival, Eric Frazee. Eric, welcome.
Hey, nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you here. And a familiar voice on KCCK, Scott Chrisman, one of the hosts of our Talking Pictures and movie aficionado and movie maker. And, of course, you're with the film festival as well. Scott,
Hello.
Nice to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So how many years is this for the film festival?
Well, it depends on how you're measuring it. 22nd event and 25th year of existence.
Okay, yeah, well, the pandemic pause.
Pandemic pause,
It
yeah.
complicates things a lot. Scott, you've been involved from the very beginning. How has the festival evolved over the years?
I would say it's continued to become easier for people to make things. You know, we started in the VHS era and evolved into the DVD and now into streaming. And basically, you've got on your phone essentially a movie studio of sorts. So it's much easier for people without a lot of budget or resources to make something.
And also from your production standpoint, there was a day when you had to make multiple copies of VCR tapes to send out to your judging panel.
Yep.
And boy, here, click the link. It's way easier.
Oh, yeah. Sending a link way easier than racks and racks of media.
Do you have a lot of filmmakers who just make their stuff on their phones?
It's hard to say,
Yeah.
because
you don't even know.
the
You
quality,
can't even tell.
It's crazy because the quality that comes in. I mean, you see feature filmmakers are making, like 28 years later or whatever, was made on an iPhone, I believe. The quality is crazy, and you can get so many neat add-ons for an iPhone, lenses, cages, things like that it's virtually indistinguishable.
Yeah, I mean, I even have a gimbal for mine that I
sure.
use for things, and it makes a huge difference. We have that conversation. Well, do you want to take the camera? No, I'll just use my phone.
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
The line between professional and hobbyist continues to blur of how much do you put into it, how many add-on, how many surrounding pieces do you have, and you really don't need as much as you used to.
No. A lot of it comes down to, I think, maybe one thing that we see as a dividing line, or maybe not so much a dividing line, but something where there's a distinction between professional and maybe amateur or your personal home movie type of thing, is the lighting, is the performance, is the blocking, that kind of thing. I mean, certainly from a technical standpoint, there's almost no way to discern, but it comes down to a lot of the finer points of crafting the story and things like that.
Has the number of submissions that you've gotten ebbed and flowed, or has it over the years more or less grown as the festival has gotten obviously more of a rep and easier to submit?
I think it's increased some. We seem to have landed around about 100 a year now. We've got the somewhat limiting Iowa connection, so that kind of puts a ceiling on us a little bit. And people can only make so much a year. But yeah, I mean, it's increased to a certain level. But I think that the ease of production and ease of submission certainly helped.
Certainly.
So, as you said, everybody who submits has to have some sort of Iowa connection to their film, from Iowa, in Iowa, filmed in Iowa. About 100 submissions. How many then, Eric, do you take out of those 100?
This year we took 62.
Oh.
So that's a little bit of a jump. Last year we had 57. A lot of it depends on how many features versus shorts and lengths, because we have a finite amount of hours that we can program. So, it was 62 this year, including 28 student films, which we were really excited about.
Well, with that said, tell me some of the highlights.
It's like asking a parent to choose
I
which
know.
of their children
Yeah.
is the best. It's great. We have some really excellent films. We have 2 feature film premieres, 5683 from Brittany Benedict. We have My Heart Remembers, which is a period drama about the meaning of family, and that's from Melinda Myers, Melissa Lawrence, Brian Lawrence, and Stephen Fulker. Funny side fact about that film is it has Julie Piekarski, who was in the first season of Facts of Life, playing a bit role in that film. We also have Friends and Neighbors from Benjamin Wagner. Ben did the 2012 documentary on PBS, Mr. Rogers and Me. And this film kind of deals with how he has navigated long-term PTSD over the past few decades. And it's a really interesting look into that. We have lots of student films. We have 7 student films from Loras College. Loras always turns in some very exciting work. We have student films from Wartburg, from the University of Iowa, from Buena Vista. It's great to see the student works come in. We have, I don't remember what the count is, but it's kind of equally balanced between short films and feature-length films, lots of documentaries, of course. And there's always something interesting for about anyone. You come to a festival and you can find something that immediately think, this is what I want to see, but maybe the next film in the block is something you wouldn't have ever considered watching, and you come out of it saying, wow, that is not something that I thought I would enjoy, but I really, really liked that, and it really made me think about, something about the human condition.
In a case like an event like this where you have films of varying lengths, what goes into scheduling? Because obviously people need people can't sit and watch movies for 14 hours a day, even though some of us try during a good Netflix binge. But what goes into figuring out how you put things next to each other, both content and length and...
It's a big puzzle. When you sit down, especially this year, we tried to get even more in than we had, and we, again, have the limited hours. But 62 films, you go, okay, do they have some commonality to them? You try and put things near each other that kind of make sense, but a lot of it comes down to length of, does this feature fit with this block of shorts? Or as you're programming the 2 auditoriums or the 5 auditoriums, how do you fit the pieces in a way that they make sense? And you have breaks that kind of even up a little bit, and meal breaks and things like that. So a lot of it is simply just time. We try and put some things, obviously Student Cinema Sunday, you've got all student films, so they all have a commonality that way. Try and put our features, just looking at the big spreadsheet of stuff is just a labyrinth of trying to put it together.
You probably think you've done the hard work once you get the results from the jury and get it winnowed down to the films that you accept for the festival, but in a lot of ways, that's when the real work begins.
Oh, after this much time, you know that's going to be a slog to sit down and go through it, and the true test comes when you release it and people go, oh, well, this isn't quite right. Oh, yeah, that's right. That we're looking at it for 3 hours, and we missed that little aspect.
The Cedar Rapids Independent Film Festival, April 4 through 6, right?
Correct.
And you're at the Collins Road Theaters again?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a great home for this. Locally owned theater, homegrown film festival. Real butter on the popcorn. Those watching the video can see that. That even makes the top line of the poster this year.
You bet.
Best popcorn in the area.
Definitely.
And yeah, as Eric said, there's something for everybody. I always approach a festival of, hey, what can you show me? If there's people that want more details, everything's on the website. There's synopses for everything. And I would encourage you, pick out a few favorites or things that sound interesting. And as you go through the synopses, there will be things that go, oh, that really speaks to me. I'm really curious to see what you did with that idea. But also just be open to some possibilities, because as Eric mentioned, there are things that will really open your eyes of, oh, I get to look through somebody else's eyes for this. I get to have an experience I wouldn't normally have had. So just be open to some of those possibilities. And certainly there's some great things that I always learn something. Every year you go, I didn't realize that about this thing or that thing, or maybe our state of Iowa. Any of those things, you go, oh, so just be open to some new experiences. But if you're looking for direction, the website is crifm.org, or just search for Cedar Rapids Independent Film Festival and Festival 2025.
Now, you mentioned Student Cinema Sunday, so Sunday is going to be all student films?
Yes, sir.
And any other non-film watching activities involved? I know sometimes you've done panel discussions and things like that in the past.
We're really excited this year. We've got 2 awesome panels. The first panel is Saturday at 4:15. It's called Representation and Identity in Independent Cinema. Like Scott said, movies allow us to look through another person's eyes at the world and sort of understand maybe where they're coming from. So we wanted to do a discussion about how to best represent marginalized populations and people who aren't necessarily appearing in mainstream cinema. Talk about crafting stories that resonate with these communities, but also inviting audiences to connect and to understand and to empathize. So we have 4 of our filmmakers participating in this. We have Akwi Enji doing our moderating for this event. And it should be just a really interesting discussion about inclusivity in independent cinema, and we're really excited about that.
Well, there are a lot of different factors about that. Not only filmmakers who traditionally have not been able to crack into this, but also as a filmmaker wanting to include representation from other populations for which they aren't a member, and how to
Absolutely.
do that in the right way without falling victim to cultural appropriation. How do I involve a Native American or someone from
Exactly.
or the immigrant experience if that's not my experience, but I think there's a story here that I want to help tell.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something that we're going to explore, I think, in this forum is what is the best way? What are the things I need to take into consideration as a filmmaker when I'm discussing these populations or these individuals or hiring them? We have one filmmaker who makes a point of hiring non-binary and people of color and women for their crews. And so what can we be doing behind the camera also to help cultivate an environment of inclusivity?
And there was another panel also.
Yes, there's a student panel also. We're calling it Real Job, R-E-A-L, or Real Job, R-E-E-L. And it's going to be kind of just an open roundtable discussion between filmmakers and students, learning about what pain points are students experiencing right now, or what questions do students have about their careers. Do they see that AI is going to put them out of a job? What stories are they trying to tell, and what roadblocks are getting in their way of telling those stories? So I really want it to just be kind of an open discussion between students and filmmakers, filmmakers asking students what's going on in schools these days, just so that it's an exchange of ideas between people at all levels of their filmmaking journey.
It's the Cedar Rapids Independent Film Festival, April 4th through 6th at the Collins Road Theaters. And it sounds like a great way to get prepped for this is to spend some time on the website and kind of plan your weekend out and take a look at what you want to see and also what you want to check out and try on for size.
Absolutely. Map out your schedule. We have been made aware years ago you cannot see everything anymore. There's simply too much. But figure out which blocks you're really interested in. The tickets have a lot of flexibility. If you're an aficionado like we are, you can buy the full event and sit there all weekend. If you've only got a little bit of time, pick a block here and there, and it's priced appropriately. You can pop in for the hours you have, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, attend the forums, attend whatever block the films are you're interested in.
And again, that website where people can go to start planning their weekend is?
It's crifm.org, and it's got all of our information, but you're looking for Festival 2025.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for being here. Gentlemen, this is always a great weekend in Cedar Rapids. I'm excited for it and hope that it goes well.
Thanks so much.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.